September 1935. Hitler announces new laws that turn Germany's Jews into second-class citizens. Children are given new textbooks with lessons in racial education.
Outside, a new Germany is being created. Many millions are rejoicing. I think that when they wake to their sober senses, they will find that they have been led by the nose and duped by lies.
The name marijuana actually lies in racial slurs directed at Mexicans. Back in the 1930s, marijuana was blamed to be the cause of hysteria and invoking men of other races to rape and murder white women. The actual plan to destroy the hemp industry by Anslinger, Andrew Mellon, William Randolph Hearst, and the DuPont family is a bit more sinister. Their efforts to usurp the growing hemp industry was due to an invention that made processing the easily growing hemp quicker and cheaper than cotton. This was a direct threat to their business investments. The DuPont family created and provided chemicals to process paper from wood, synthetics for rope, fertilizers, and pesticides for the cotton industry. All of these products were in direct competition with hemp.
Right at present, every day, 18,000 children starving to death on this planet. 18,000 every day. We can end that in no time. Hemp seeds are one of the most nutritious things on earth. Hemp will grow in areas where nothing else will grow. The American government and the Canadian government had this plant listed as a non-medicinal plant. Now, if you look it up, the American government since 2003 have had medical patents on that plant. Medical patents for a non-medicinal plant? Does that make any sense to you?
There's a reason why the huge oil barons want hemp illegal. These are the big names, folks. Rockefeller and Rothschild, the people really pulling the strings. Hemp was clearly made illegal because hemp equals abundance and abundance equals no profit.
The war on drugs has been an utter failure.
Don't put the livelihoods of thousands of people at risk.
Who in their right mind would outlaw a drug that is an anti-aging drug, that kills cancer, that inhibits all the age-related diseases such as autoimmune disease, cardiovascular disease, neurological dysfunction, and furthermore, whose activity is found in mother's milk?
There was one question that was voted on that ranked fairly high, and that was whether legalizing marijuana would improve the economy and job creation. The answer is no. I don't think that is a good strategy to grow our economy.
Canada and Mexico are as one. So we commit to expanding our management of the border to the concept of a North American perimeter.
But as I constantly remind Canadians, there isn't really a Canadian economy anymore. It is a global economy.
And to the extent we now have a truly globalized economy, we need some semblance of global governance. That's what the G20 is. So if the G20 doesn't work, something else will have to fill that gap. So I believe ultimately everyone around the table will make it work.
Would it be a fair description that you see the G20 essentially as a steering committee for the global economy?
Yeah, I think that's
determining global economic issues.
I think that's what it is, Perrin. I don't think, we're not talking about world government. I don't think anybody's going to come in and say we're prepared to surrender our sovereignty to the G20 or some other body.
I know some people don't like it. It's a loss of national sovereignty, but it is a simple reality. It is a simple reality.
You've shut down Parliament twice. You've been found in contempt of Parliament by the Speaker of the House of Commons twice.
Even when we're not able to be with you, to be there with you, you're with us.
This week, a new economic report confirmed what most Americans already believed to be true. Over the past 3 decades, the middle class has lost ground, while the wealthiest few have become even wealthier. In fact, the average income for the top 1% of Americans has risen almost 7 times faster than the income of the average middle-class family. And this has happened during a period where the cost of everything from health care to college has skyrocketed. Now, in this country, we don't begrudge anyone wealth or success. We encourage it. We celebrate it. But America is better off when everyone had the chance to get ahead, not just those at the very top of the income scale. The more Americans who prosper, the more America prospers. Stop playing politics and start taking action on jobs. If we want to rebuild an economy where every American has the chance to get ahead, then we're going to need every American to get involved. That's how real change has always happened, and that's how it'll happen today.
War on drugs, the Drug Enforcement Agency, all they're doing, they're causing trouble, and they've brought about the rise of all these gangs, not only the Mexican cartels in Mexico, but also all of the street gangs in the United States. All of them operate. The reason they're so prolific and their numbers are so good and they can get away with what they're doing is because they control the drug activity out there on the streets. And this is just wrong. And not to mention all the innocent people that are arrested just for possession charges for cannabis that have had their lives ruined. I mean, since the Controlled Substance Act was passed, we've locked up over 40 million people just for possession of cannabis. And it's still going on today. In fact, today it's even worse than it's ever been in our time. New York State alone is they're arresting 50,000 people a month up there for just possession charges of cannabis. And this is absolutely insane that we ruin Americans' lives because they want to take the freedom of choice that they possess with their Constitution and use cannabis, or whatever drug they want to use for that matter. But certainly one like cannabis that has never killed anybody, has never caused anybody to go to the hospital for an overdose or anything like that. This is just certainly wrong. And the fact that we stand back and allow a cartel in Mexico, many cartels for that matter, murder innocent people just so they can control the marijuana market here in the United States is really wrong. We have narcotics that are being brought across the border from Mexico by the cartels, cocaine, heroin, methamphetamine, crack, all of those, and they're being cut with illicit substances, dangerous substances. The cannabis in Mexico is being sprayed with chemicals. I wouldn't doubt that they're crushing up and hydrating different pharmaceuticals and spraying it on the cannabis to try to make it seem like it's stronger. Less people die from the illicit drugs, heroin, cocaine, methamphetamine, crack, than die from just prescription Oxycontin alone.
The government launched its latest assault on the Liberals today, once again accusing them of being soft on crime. The Liberals have decided they won't support a bill that would impose mandatory sentences for drug crimes. The new measures would include a mandatory 6-month sentence for being found with as few as 6 marijuana plants. In a moment, I'll speak with Justice Minister Rob Nicholson, but first, here's a heated exchange on the issue from Question Period today.
Mr. Speaker, the Conservatives' war on drugs bill is not tough on crime, it's dumb on crime. Yeah. A young person with 6 pot plants would be treated the same way as a mob boss.
What the federal government is telling us is that they have the right to interfere with what's going on in the states so that they can protect the black market price of cannabis. This is about as dumb as we can get.
Okay. This is a certified true copy of my live statement of birth. You can get this by applying for it at the Registrar General. They'll give it to you. And it's very interesting because this is where it all began. This is the foundation document. All identification is generated from this document. And so if the foundation document is no good, anything that's made from it is no good. That means driver's licenses, health cards, everything. Now what they did here, this is exactly what he meant when he said, soon every American will be required to register their biological property. Now your parents didn't realize what they were doing when they filled this out, and these didn't exist before 1933. Birth records were recorded in Scripture, and these only came into being in 1933 when they hatched this plan. They created a corporate fiction with a name just like yours. See this here? They framed you. See these tracks? They railroaded you. There's a child hidden behind the record. This is the record. You can't harm a child in law. So they had to protect you behind the record. And you operate a corporation. Now, this line right here is called the delineation, a line of delineation, which means anything below it can be changed. This line underneath my surname, talk to anyone who edits legal documents or who's in printing, and they'll tell you that to underline something means that it's an error and it has to be changed. In doing this, they registered and monetized the spirit and soul of a living being.
The date at the top, there's one that says June 12th. What is that?
That's the date I got this. Okay. That's the date of issue. This is a certified copy. There's 2 stamps, notarized by a lawyer and signed off. So this is a true copy of the original. And the reason why it says June 12th, 09 is because that's when I requested this and that's when they gave it to me. Now, from that, they created, this is where it gets really bad. They created this document. Now, in law, a certificate, think gold certificate, think silver certificate. A certificate is like a share in something. And this is a legal document, and it's called a certificate. But here it says extract, which in law means a tax. My name is spelt in all capitals here. So's yours, so's your driver's license, your health card, anything you get from the government, your name is spelt in all capital letters. And when you use any government identification, you are identifying yourself as a corporation and you are existing within the jurisdiction of corporate law. And just because you didn't know what you're doing, that's no excuse. It doesn't exonerate you from liability. You're participating. The only way out is non-compliance. Don't participate. Now, this is, see this red number here? People may wonder, gee, why is there a red number on the back of my birth certificate? Well, this is a Class A share because I'm born in Canada. The letter at the beginning of the number is called a CUSIP number. All securities require a CUSIP number. And that's what this is. This is a security, this is a share which represents me. This is held as collateral to secure the national debt. There was a bankruptcy in 1933, and the central bankers came in and said, we have a mechanism whereby you can continue to conduct commerce even though you're bankrupt and there's no money. Pledge your citizens as collateral. That happened in 1933, the bankruptcy. And that, by no coincidence, is why these started to be issued in 1933. So you may be walking around thinking you're free and you have rights. But the bottom line is that you are owned, you're a chattel, you're a slave. And these people own you. And that's why they can do things to you against your will. Because you comply.
If people are looking for more information on this, where would you recommend?
Thinkfree.ca has a lot of good information, but I think it's dangerous because see, this is a valuable token. And you can use this to discharge debt. Because there is no money. The currency you have in your pocket represents debt. It doesn't represent wealth. And the things you buy with it aren't yours because the currency has a hidden lien against it. And that's how they can take your house and they can take your car and they can take anything you own. Now, Robert Menard is teaching people that they can cash this in for $10 million. And while that may be true, I wouldn't advise doing something like that because your motivation is improper. There's greed and there's ego and there's all these bad things associated